So Andrew and Charlemagne decided they would dip their toes back into the conversation about everything Epstein on the most recent episode of Brilliant Idiots. They spend most of the time focusing on how pedophilia is a system failure, how it's almost a feature of wealth, and they focus no time on individual responsibility. Take a look.
I was thinking about this with the Epstein files, right?
Yeah.
Are these people natural born pedophiles? Or is this something they have to do once they get in a certain position?
Do you want to know what I think it is?
That's why I asked the question.
Okay, so if you notice like all the people related to the Epstein files, right? There's really no entertainers and no like athletes.
No.
Like almost zero.
Yeah.
Right? Who is it? It's like scientists, politicians,
spiritual leaders,
billionaires.
Yeah.
Right? Like hedge fund dudes, finance guys, right? It's really all like fat, short nerds. Okay, who are super alphas in their life. They're the most brilliant people in every room they step in. They feel like they are the man constantly, except for one aspect of their life.
Little dicks?
I don't know how big their dicks are, but I know when they're in a room and it's them and Denzel Washington, the girls ain't looking at them.
So right off the bat, Charlemagne asks a bit of a dumb question. If we believe that people were being forced to be pedophiles, then maybe we would let them off the hook more easily. You don't want to remove personal responsibility because that is just as important as the systems in place that enabled the bad behavior. And pedophilia is not a problem only with the wealthy, and it's not some sort of rite of passage either to molest children.
When Bill Gates, there's the perfect picture, and Bezos isn't on the island or anything like that, but remember that video of Jeff Bezos and his new wife meeting Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yes,
remember
I do
the
remember
way
that.
his wife is looking at Leonardo DiCaprio. Like Bezos isn't even there. She's drooling over this meeting with Leonardo DiCaprio. Jeff Bezos is like, I built the most successful company in the world. I'm going to send you to space. And Leonardo DiCaprio is just in the room and she can't even look at her husband. And I think that's what they go through in their everyday life. They're like, why am I an alpha in every single situation? I do whatever the fuck I want. These are the crazy people who made $200 million and felt like they had to make more than that.
They made more than that. But I agree with what you're saying.
The point I'm trying to say is I think the reason, I don't think it's just with Epstein. I think they're getting hookers and stuff all the time.
Quick aside, Andrew referring to sex trafficking victims as hookers is not by accident. Speaking in a way that demeans victims can subtly change public perception of them. By referring to them as hookers, he is removing the illegal part and making it seem like they had a choice when Epstein victims were trafficked. I don't even know if Andrew understands he's doing this or if it's just deep-rooted biases affecting his language of the victims. I think there definitely is a component that is ego-driven and based on insecurities that contributes to the elites wanting access to females. But Andrew forgets that this doesn't explain why they traffic girls, specifically very young teenage girls.
But why underage is what I'm saying. Why underage in particular, and specifically? Why is it underage girls?
I don't know. I honestly...
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, it's like, are they natural born pedophiles or is this some like type of ritual?
So what you're alleging is they're requesting them to be underage.
I'm just wondering why is so many underage girls?
100%. But don't get me wrong. I think it's the worst fucking thing in the world. And these people are like, they're off. And I think what probably happens to people like this, and this is my assumption, is like, they don't have to abide by the rules of society like the rest of us. They don't pay taxes. So like, there's a perfect example. Remember the financial crisis?
Like a power trip?
Just walk with me on this.
Okay.
2008 financial crisis, right? The banks sell these predatory loans to people. People lose everything. They lose their houses, lose their lives. The banks get bailed out and the CEOs get bonuses, right? The rest of us go, why the fuck did none of you go to jail? And then we learn that there's a big club. None of us are invited into it. And I think a lot of us go, holy shit. If we do fucked up things or we make mistakes, there's repercussions for our actions. All these people lost their homes, they lost their livelihood, they lost everything. We look at that and we go, oh, we got to be careful because bad things can happen with you if you put yourself in fucked up situations.
Yeah.
Those people, they look at that and they go, they got bonuses, they got bailed out, none of them go to jail. They go, oh, I could do whatever I want.
So they're just evil motherfuckers who just are who just want to see what they can get away with.
What do kids do when you don't give them guidelines?
They keep pushing.
Rules?
They keep pushing. Yeah, so they want to see what they can get away with. Nah, that makes all the sense.
You're also looking at like the most ambitious sociopathic people on the planet, right? These are all people that are like money. The Epstein class of people, regardless what institution they're in, they're all obsessed with money and power. They get money and power, and they live within a framework in America, which is Unfortunately, religion doesn't play as much of a part in culture as it used to. And I think because of that, it's been replaced by money. And then whatever it takes to get money for the Epstein class of people, they're okay with. They'll look the other way about stuff. They'll see some fucking freak who had a conviction of a pedophile charge, right? Or whatever, underage traffic or whatever the fuck it is. We call it a fucking pedophile charge. And they'll look the other way because it might put them in an economically advantageous situation.
You know what? I definitely agree with you when it comes to them feeling like they can get away with whatever they want to get away with, because the other thing that's in these files, which is why I don't know why this shit isn't causing more of a fucking mass hysteria, is the amount of potential murder that is in these motherfucking files.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like the amount of people that they probably
the day he
killed.
gets indicted, he gets they send like 60 barrels of sulfuric acid to the island or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just a decomposed garbage. It's probably just decomposing garbage, guys.
Yo, there's one email, and by the way, I don't even know what's real and what's not real no more, but there was one email where he was like, little girls are like shrimp. You cut the heads off and throw the bodies away or some shit like that.
Shit.
You didn't see that shit?
I didn't see that.
Oh my God, yo. Like, yeah, that shit is crazy. It's
You're
some of the
dealing
most...
with sick, twisted motherfuckers that do not feel the repercussions of breaking the rules. They get away with it. And when you get away with it, I think what starts to happen to people, it's like the guy who's like speeding in his car. We speed in the car, we get a ticket, and then for a few weeks, you kind of drive the speed limit because you're like, fuck, I might get another ticket. The guy who speeds gets pulled over and they go, oh, it's just you, do whatever you want. He's speeding even faster now. He's not even thinking about it. I think this is what happens. It's almost like a sickness. And then when society starts to reward the sickness, you don't even think about the collateral damage.
I think Andrew likes to blame the system itself because then he doesn't have to face the reality that it is currently his political side that is covering up for this child sex trafficking ring. It is weird that he continues to frame it as though pedophilia is unavoidable and looking the other way is the norm. We don't have to accept this when competent people can easily replace every single one of the people mentioned in the Epstein files tomorrow without a hitch. The reality is, it was a group of sick individuals who likely all share the dark triad personality traits that chose to conspire together to exploit and molest young girls due to their own desires. Then, the system enabled them to get away with it. While I agree with most of what Andrew says, I wish he'd focus more on the moral component and individual responsibility. When the system and society as a whole are being blamed, it makes it easier for individuals to disguise themselves in the group and evade responsibility. He's kind of framing it as though there's nothing that can be done about sex trafficking because it's bigger than any one person, and it's built in. But there is no correlation between extreme wealth and pedophilia, and it seems like that is what Andrew is inferring. I will acknowledge that there may be a correlation between extreme wealth and pedophilia insofar as people with extreme levels of wealth are more likely to share negative traits that may lead to sex abuse. These three personality traits, Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy, are common in very wealthy and powerful people and may partially explain why they traffic and molest young girls and women. Narcissistic traits correlate with the sense of entitlement that causes perpetrators to feel owed or deserving of sexual access. And threats made to their ego or feelings of rejection can lead to violence as well. Psychopathic traits are linked to impulsivity and a lack of remorse, which makes offenders unable to recognize the harm. This, combined with conservative values that prop up chastity, purity, and gender roles, may explain the higher likelihood of sexual violence amongst the wealthy. And when the highest value is placed on innocence and purity, children are going to be the likely targets as they personify these values. It's important to note that children are selected as victims for many other reasons, and access and opportunity also play a role in selecting them. Children are also more naive, easily coerced and vulnerable, and so the most exploitable. It may not necessarily be due to their attraction for children that they select them, but because children are the easiest to control and keep quiet as well. Conservative religious values that uphold the Madonna whore complex and repression could also contribute to sexual dysfunction.
I don't even know how you could work, like literally be any type of human being with any level of empathy, work in the federal government right now and be the person who had to redact these shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're the person who actually had to sit there, read about all of these people doing all of these sick, heinous crimes, redact it, put it out, and then go on about your day like everything's normal. That shit is insane to me.
But that's like lawyers have to do that every day, especially when you representing some of the worst criminals.
They're pieces of shit too. I think there's a weight on your soul when you're the type of person that's got to represent rapists and shit like that. Like, I understand it's part of our justice system and everybody gets a fair trial or whatever, but like,
you seen Devil's Advocate before? One of my favorite movies. You ever seen Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves? You ever seen Devil's Advocate?
Yeah.
Watch Devil's Advocate. That shit is one of my favorite movies fucking ever, yo. Like exactly what you're saying is what Keanu's character has to explore throughout that whole film. It's like, yo, and the things that some people are willing to sacrifice just to be the so-called best in their field. Like, that shit is sick, man.
You know what's really crazy is that, like, my whole life I thought that the only thing that the left and the right in government, the politicians of the left and the right, they agreed on was
underage girls.
No. My whole life, I thought it was just like endless foreign wars. I thought it was, devaluing our money so we all go broke without even knowing. And then the making sure that the pharmaceutical industry and the healthcare industry make tons of money and none of us get the actual care or drugs that we need. I didn't also know that they were unanimous in protecting pedophiles and protecting rich people who fuck kids. I didn't know that that was part of their jobs as institutional politicians. And it's just like, as you look at this Epstein shit, even from the beginning, it's amazing to see it go from administration to administration, from left to right, seamlessly, with all of them looking the other way, protecting, ignoring.
They all doing the same thing. What they all say is what George Carlin used to say, is one big club and you ain't in it.
Yo.
Boy, this shit look like this for real.
It irks me when Andrew tries to spread the responsibility to both political sides equally without acknowledging that it's current-day Republicans of the MAGA ilk who are actively covering up and protecting pedophiles. That being said, in a rare moment of unity, both Democrats and Republicans were able to come together to sign the Epstein Files Transparency Act, proving that both parties are mortified by what is going on present day. And they are both speaking up against pedophilia, thankfully leading to clips like this one.
You guys didn't release the files. You were forced by Congress.
Or this one.
Oh, for goodness sakes, this is pathetic. This is pathetic, Mr. Chair.
Will be in order.
I am not asking trick questions here. The American people have a right to know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration. This is not a game, Secretary.
I'm Attorney General.
My apologies, I couldn't tell.
Or this one.
The Epstein Files Transparency Act required the Department of Justice to disclose the perpetrators connected with Epstein's criminal activities and to redact the information of survivors to protect their identities. Let me show you what actually happened. First, in violation of the law, your department has shown a pattern of redacting the names of powerful predators.
That's what you do. Protect and enable the criminals who are plundering our society and destroying what's left of democracy and the rule of law. Epstein accomplices, mass DHS thugs, corporate criminals. I'm Hoffman, Eric Adams, insurrectionists. The list goes on. And you talk about fighting crime, but you protect any criminal who helps you and Trump turn our country into an authoritarian gangster state.
I think Andrew makes excuses a lot when he doesn't want to face the fact that it's his Republican side that is doing something bad. He just wants to make it an across-the-board problem so he doesn't have to explain how he can continue to support the current Republican Party. He needs to make Democrats more culpable somehow to take the heat off of Republicans, and it's obvious that's what he's doing, and he does it nonstop. Looking at things through Schultz's lens can be dangerous because when the problem is everywhere, the solution can be nowhere. He spread the onus of responsibility, and now the individual sickos are safe back in the group. It's good to understand the systems in place and how they enable bad behavior, but they did not cause the bad behavior. Sex trafficking young girls is not a part of the process to achieving extraordinary wealth, so let's not act like it's unavoidable. It feels now like the whole country, left and right, are fighting a small group of bad apple Republicans. They are writing legislation to force the hand of the right, and they aren't backing down. Trump's veil is beginning to crumble. As it turns out, people do draw the line at child sex trafficking, right or left. The extremely wealthy are more likely to participate in unsavory behaviors due to access and lack of consequences, etc. This doesn't mean that all wealthy people are pedophiles, but it does make it seem like they are. don't worry, there are still good people left who care on both sides of the political aisle, and they are owning these pedo excusers. So don't stop fighting for the truth, even though the problem is widespread. Don't stop demanding answers when we know they're out there. Justice still exists, and the people in the Epstein files will be brought down. It just might take longer than expected, so hang in there. Subscribe if you're as fed up as I am with people missing the whole point.